So thank you all for joining us. My name is Mary Scholl, and I am the director at the Institute for Collaborative Learning. And I'm super excited to welcome you all here today. This session today, Yvonne Swaza will be leading us in designing and delivering interactive reading comprehension and written production tasks for Costa Rican high school students. So if you're from Costa Rica, this hopefully will be directly applicable. And if you're not, then hopefully it'll be some interesting information for you as well. We want to thank the U.S. Embassy. This webinar is sponsored by the U.S. Embassy and also the Ministry of Public Education and the national advisors who asked us to deliver this topic. So this webinar was designed in direct communication with the national advisors. So we hope that it's useful to you. I also want to thank our regional advisors for sharing the information about the webinar with everyone. And it's a bit of an intimate webinar today, smaller group. So we hope that you enjoy it. And if you have questions, comments, please put them in the chat or unmute and offer them. It would be really nice to interact with you all. We're going to start out today with some words from Elizabeth Smith, who is the Cultural Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy here in Costa Rica. Let's see what she has to say.
Hola a todos. My name is Elizabeth Smith, and I'm the Cultural Affairs Officer here at the U.S. Embassy in Costa Rica. I'm delighted to welcome you to this series of webinars made possible through the dedicated efforts of the experienced educators at the Institute for Collaborative Learning, the Ministry of Public Education, and the U.S. Embassy. Teaching English is both a rewarding and challenging task, requiring continuous growth, adaptation, and learning. These webinars will serve as a valuable platform to expand your knowledge, exchange ideas, and explore new, innovative methodologies. Together, you will reach new levels in your teaching practice and inspire your students to excel in English. I encourage you all to actively engage, to participate wholeheartedly, and to share your own experiences and perspectives. By collaborating with one another, you can build a vibrant network of English teachers in Costa Rica, united by a common goal to inspire your students and shape their futures through the power of language. I cannot thank you enough for your hard work and dedication to your profession. On behalf of the U.S. Embassy in Costa Rica, I welcome you again, and may this series of webinars be a productive and interesting experience for you. Buena suerte en su proceso de aprendizaje. Adelante.
Alfredo Ortega Cordero, who was one of the national advisors for English, is now the Jefe de Departamento Tercer Ciclo de Educación Diversificada. And he played a really important role in helping us get these webinars and make them available to you all. So we're really grateful to him, and I know he would be here if he could, but I know the advisors now are working a lot on the situation in San Carlos and supporting teachers whose schools will be closed for the next few weeks. I think they're working on that today. So we want to thank him, and then also Marianela Granados and Andrea Cruz, our national English advisors for secondary. They sent this message: welcome, dear teachers. We hope you'll find this webinar useful as you're planning instruction and searching for creative ways to maximize student learning. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to continuous improvement. So that was a sweet message from Marianela and Andrea. And I also just want to welcome you all. We're grateful to the Embassy, we're grateful to MEP, and we're mostly grateful to you all for showing up today. So thank you so much. And Yvonne, thank you for offering this webinar with us today. We hope that you enjoy it. I also want to thank you all in advance for something. I'm hoping that you'll participate, or at least some of you will participate. This webinar is only going to function if some people are actually doing the activities. We're going to have a sample reading lesson and a sample writing lesson. And we'd like you to do it so that you can experience it and talk about it. So I want to thank those of you in advance who are actually going to be participating. Thank you so much. Thank you. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to hearing about your experiences. So, Yvonne, take it away. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for the warm welcoming. Thank you. And my name is Ivan, and I'm originally from Nicaragua, and I work and live here in Costa Rica. And I I brought these two groups of pictures on the screen. On the left, we have pictures before the pandemic, working with teachers in public schools in different countries in the region, attending conferences or events, including map events, pictures from the contest just before the pandemic. And then during the pandemic and after the pandemic, I've been working mainly online, working with students, working with teachers on professional development. And we teach English, and most of our students are colegio students. So we talk to them, and then they share the challenges they face when they practice reading and writing. And one of my daughters, Alejandra, it's in 8th grade. So I sometimes talk to her teachers, her English teachers, and her classmates. We talk about reading and writing and challenges and things we can do together. And sometimes I also, with Mary, visit events. So that picture, the last picture, the left, the bottom right, we visited an English festival, school, high school, organizing an English festival. So if you have an invitation for us, we have an event, you can send us an invitation and see. We'll do our best so we can join you and be part of the event too. So one of the rituals we do at the Institute for Collaborative Learning is promote belonging, so we're all welcome and feel that this is a space when we are welcome as we are, where we are, and we can experience and talk about the experiences we have during the webinar. So I'm going to read the slide, and you can also follow the slide. And so I'm going to welcome everyone. So I'm going to welcome MEP teachers and supervisors. And I'm going to welcome everyone who is hungry. I haven't had lunch, but I'm not hungry yet. But if you're hungry, you're welcome. And then welcome everyone who has eaten. It's 1 o'clock, maybe some of you had already eaten. Welcome everyone who is tired. And welcome everyone who has energy. You're welcome as you are. Welcome everyone who is angry. You are welcome. No need to change your emotions. And you're welcome if you're happy to. Welcome everyone who feels lonely. Yeah, welcome everyone who feels a sense of belonging. And welcome everyone who likes teaching, reading, and writing. I love teaching reading. And welcome everyone who doesn't like teaching, reading, and writing. You are welcome. So welcome everyone. So as Mary said, we are inviting you to actually participate. And the idea of participating is we talk about the experiences. The more you participate, the more experiences, and then room for participation and reflecting on your experiences. So what is one more thing you would like to welcome today? It could be a place, it could be an action, it could be a person. What is something else you would like to welcome to this webinar and that you decided to join us?
Welcome everybody who's hot and everybody who's not hot. But I'm in the hot category today. It's hot here today.
Yeah, I welcome rain and not rain. So it's not raining here. So welcome rain. Please, rain, come here. Freddie, I'm inviting our friend Freddie. What would you like to welcome to the webinar, Freddie?
Hi everyone. Well, I don't know yet, but I welcome everyone who is sleepy right now.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, after lunch, right?
Yeah.
Right. So Galaxy S20 says, welcome new teachers and experienced teachers. Correct. That's nice. Yes, great. Right. So welcome. Yuri says, welcome positive and negative people. Yes, we are welcome as we are. So it's beautiful to, the experience of welcoming. So you are at a place and then you feel something, an energy, you want to stay, right? And there are some places where I go and I don't want to come back and I want to leave, just get in and I want to leave. I don't know why, like not feeling welcome. So in places I feel welcome, I want to stay. So I feel welcome in Costa Rica and I want to stay here. I feel welcome. Yeah. So thank you for welcoming me and my family. So, and Danny says, welcome everyone who is a little sick. Oh no. And those who are healthy. I'm healthy now. So thank you. So, and Mariela says, welcome everyone who is inspired to continue creating. That is amazing. Yes. So thank you so much for bringing that energy and welcoming everyone as you are. Yeah. So Mary, that's what Mary said. This is the overview today. So it is so important, right? I'm now the teacher and I'm inviting you to be the learners. And we're going to be having 2 sample lessons, 1 reading lesson and 1 writing lesson. And the idea of having the lesson is we're going to go through the MEP methodology. What's it included in the MEP curriculum? How to design and implement a reading lesson and a writing lesson following the MEP curriculum. And then you experience the text and the tasks are for your level, not for your students. And then you experience, and then you reflect and say, oh, okay, I can do this. Oh, that what students mean when they say this and that. So it's very important for you to actually participate in the 2 lessons. So I'd like to start with the first reading sample lesson. And I'm curious about, when was the last time you were a learner in a reading lesson? When was the last time you were in a class and then it was on reading and then you practice reading strategies, reading understanding, reading comprehension?
Well, I can share maybe. Hello, good afternoon. Just like a couple weeks ago, I took part of a program, Susie, with the U.S. Embassy. So I was just a student.
Wow,
Quite an interesting experience.
wow, Megan, you were in a SUSI program.
That's right.
That's face-to-face or the online program?
Face to face. I was in the U.S. for 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Where do you go? What state?
Massachusetts, New York, and Utah.
Oh, thank you. So I'm gonna thank the American Embassy, Megan, for different programs for teachers. I was
Absolutely.
I participated in the Fulbright program
Oh, you did?
a long time ago. Yeah.
What an experience, Ryan.
It's an experience, so thank you, American Embassy and American people, for supporting different programs abroad. So that's great. Congratulations, Megan.
Thank you.
Great. That's great. So yeah, as a learner, long time ago, you just said, yeah. Some people a long time ago, I think that's great, because it's important we experience, right? What it takes to be a learner in a reading lesson, right? So I hope you are willing to participate and experience and go through all the stages and do it. Say, oh, okay, I can do this, and do it with us. And then we reflect on the experience and say, I enjoyed it. It was frustrating. It was challenging. I love it. I love this idea. Or you can ask questions. Why do you do that? Yeah. How can I do that? Yeah. All right, great. Let's move on to the next slide. So I would like to see maybe 2 or 3 teachers sharing about some of the challenges you face when you create and deliver reading lessons. Maybe with you are planning, or your students when you are delivering the lesson. What are some big challenges at any level? Okay, Danny raised his hand. Go ahead, Danny.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge with us. I want to say that every time that I am teaching reading and we have the reading comprehension, we are reading the text and we go over the text, and maybe we have to summarize or somebody has to answer any question, and students find it difficult to locate, to scan the specific information, and they are lost, and the answer is right there. They just have to copy as it is, but I think that they need to focus, and I use highlighters and those, and I always lend highlighters for those who don't have any. But the most difficult is that the students take a text and they write side notes or highlight or locate the specific information and reading. So we already know that the students are not willing to read that much as we did, but we have to go back to it. So that's
Yeah,
my
thank you.
point.
Thank you, Danny. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like the practice of different reading strategies. And the MAP curriculum provides, I would say, around 10 or 11 different reading strategies that might be included in your reading lessons. On this sample lesson, we included around 7 or 8. So that would be great. You see different reading strategies in one sample lesson. Then you say, oh, that was skimming. Oh, that was scanning. Oh, that was going beyond between the lines. Yes, that's great. And in the chat, one participant say it is hard to keep the students' attention depending on the topic. Yeah, selecting the text is a great it's a great step, right? What kind of text I select for students find it, useful, interesting, attractive, appealing? Because I think Danny was saying they don't want to read. So it's just getting to know students and say, what would you like to read? What kind of text I can bring to class? Yeah, so sometimes Christina says students get very lazy. They don't like to read. I'm thinking about what's the message behind, Christina, and they say, we don't want to read. What's the message behind? So maybe they want a different text, or they want different strategies, different ways, or maybe they're coming with experiences, and then they have like this label. So reading is hard, it's challenging, it's difficult. They don't want to do it. Who wants to do something that is very challenging, right? So it takes a process, right? So thank you so much for sharing. I love your participation. And I think we're ready for the reading sample lesson. Now, this is the beginning of the lesson, the beginning of the reading sample lesson. So this reading experience, the text we selected, it's for like C1 English speakers, right? It's not for 7th grader so the information is from 10th grade from the curriculum. We're taking all the essential questions, the indicator, and then the topic. The text is selected for advanced students, for you to know. And you will see that in the experience. So that's information we are using to plan the lesson. And this is the objective of the lesson. So, and it's important for students to get to know what the objective of the lesson is. So you will be doing in around 30 minutes, more or less. So you will show understanding of a text. We selected an extract of a text, 2 paragraphs, and that you're achieving the objective when you answer 4 detailed questions after the second reading. So when you answer the 4 questions, you achieve this objective. And then we are integrating a different language skills. We're integrating speaking. So it's important. We read a text, we show understanding, and then with the content, the information from the text, we have a conversation. So we're going to have a group conversation. So the idea is when you have the post reading task, we have a conversation. So as you can see, this is also something that the MEP curriculum includes, the language integration in a lesson. So we have reading and speaking integrated in one reading lesson, one lesson. Let me read in the chat in case you have any question. Okay, so Freddie says, so I've been told by fellow teacher is the main challenge is a short time to scaffold the reading. Oh yeah, Freddie, I get it, right? I think it's a one thought I had around that because I have faced that challenge, Freddie. So I have maybe 50 minutes to teach a reading lesson. And maybe I select the text and then I see that the text was too challenging for students. Or maybe the task I designed are too complicated for students, right? Involves a lot of speaking, for example, when students, struggle when speaking. So thinking about the type of text I select that is not only for the English level, but for the time I have. So one paragraph, a few sentences will be enough for a text, a short conversation, and the different tasks I have. So the task that maximizes time. So maybe something we have a conversation at the end after experiencing this. All right. So this is thank you for sharing that question, Freddie, in the chat. Yeah. So this is the beginning of the reading sample lesson, and then we activating a schema. So, and what do you usually do when someone in your family is sick in Costa Rica? What do you take your children, you know, when they're sick? So my children, I take them to the doctor, but most of the time when symptoms like flu, common cold, I go to the drugstore and I describe the symptoms and they say, okay, this might work. And my wife is good at reading the components and say, yeah, that works. Or she might say, no, that's not good for kids. So what do you do? I'm curious about your experience. You can write in the chat or open your mic.
Well, most likely homemade remedies, homemade, perhaps some herbs or teas in a drugstore. Absolutely.
Yeah, I do that too. I take tea, home remedies. I don't usually take medicine. Yeah, go to the doctor, Christina says. So yeah, Danny says home remedies. Yeah, that's the idea. Go to the hospital, Huawei says, and give them a pill. Yeah. Right, that's experience of many people in Costa Rican teachers. Move on. Thank you. That was a great brainstorming. Now, these 6. I'm gonna read in the chat. Thank you. Let me read in chat. So welcome. I love your name. Welcome. So it depends on how sick the person is. Yeah, that's good. And usually, if it doesn't seem to be serious, I go to a drugstore and get some medicine, right? But if serious, as hospital, I agree. I go to the emergency room. Yeah, if it's serious, if I see something is serious, immediately. Yes. Okay, so these 6 words on the left, 1 to 6, are included in the text. And on the right, you have the definitions. And can we guess what's the definition or the meaning for each of the 6 words? They might mean new to you. Some of them, at least two of them were new to me when I was planning the class. I need a dictionary. So number 1, which one do you think? So you can write in the chat or you can open your mic and say 1 is C, 1 is D, 1 is F. And we're guessing the meaning, right? We're encountering these 6 words, and these are support language. This language is useful to understand the text and also complete the tasks. We're not teaching vocabulary. We just need some support words or phrases that will be supporting reading and understanding. So maiden is a young woman. Megan says maiden is 2 is. I'm gonna start with 1. 1 is D. Maiden, Megan says is young woman, and harsh is difficult. You're right. Harsh is difficult, Megan. How about 4?
Indoctrination is accepting a set of beliefs uncritically.
You're right. That's and thank you for practicing the pronunciation, right? Because that's what students say. Teacher, ¿cómo se pronuncia? ¿Puede pronunciar, teacher?
Yeah, that's hard. I always try to say it as fast as possible.
Right, because it takes time, right? It takes time. I use YouTube to pronounce. I say how to pronounce and I click the word so it's fast for me. How about 5? A? Yes. 5 was A, and 6, of course, is C. Now, how about I would like to get 6 volunteers, and let's practice the pronunciation. All right, might be new for you. We're just guessing, right? We're clarifying the meaning and the pronunciation. How about number 1, volunteer? Open your mic and just say it.
Thaumaturge.
Oh, that's good, Christina. Thank you. Yeah, thaumaturge. Yeah, thaumaturge. Yes, thank you. How about number 2?
Maiden.
Maiden. Right. Yeah, thank you. Great. Number 3?
Harsh.
Harsh. 4.
Indoctrination.
Yeah, Megan, thank you. Indoctrination. 5. Anyone?
Protracted.
Protracted. Yes. And the last one, that was new for me. The pronunciation, that was new for me. You say, oh, I know the word in Spanish, but
No fight or something like that.
Christina, that was a good guess. Yeah, that's what I did. I don't know. I'm gonna go YouTube. Yes, neophyte. Yeah, you're right. Neophyte. Yes. For me, that was a kind of a cognate, as I know what it is in Spanish, but I don't know. I had no idea the pronunciation, so I was guessing it and check with the YouTube. Thank you. So that was a support language needed to promote understanding of the text and answer some of the questions. Okay, so this is the reason why we're reading the text for the first time. Let me share the questions in the chat. Let me escape here for a second. Oops, I'm sorry. No, I want to say escape. Okay, good. Let me copy the questions in the chat. Because the idea is you read and answer the question, in this case, the question at the same time, right? So that's reading a reading comprehension task, right? It's not memory, it's that you read and then you remember what was the reading about, right? So it's I'll give you the task first and then the text, and then at the same time you are reading and completing the task. So the task, the reason why we're reading is answer this question. This text is about what? And you have 3 options: a place where services are provided to sick people, special ceremonies with children and adults, and the different challenges sick people face. And we're gonna start with 90 seconds, right? I tested this, and for learner your level, 90 seconds seems good. But in 90 seconds, I will check. And if you think you need 30 more seconds, we'll take 30 more seconds. You think, no, I got it. Because this is the general idea. We're not going into details. This is just a big picture. What is the text about? Yeah, if you get any other idea, that will be great. Yeah, but I need to see, oh, this text is about this because because they talk about the place, right? All right, and for the 90 seconds, I will play some background music for reading. I went to YouTube and say video music for reading and writing. So when I selected one, I almost forget. Also, I created live worksheets. How many of you have used live worksheets in your life, in your professional life, in your teaching or learning? If you can raise your hand, or how many of you have used? I see some people waving. That's great. Yesterday, live worksheets made some changes, and the new website looks great. I love it. I love it. And now there's a chance you can download into PDF live worksheets, and you can also share on WhatsApp. And I really love the new interface. Let me show you. So in the chat, you have the link for the live worksheet. So there will be 2 for this sample lesson. For the writing, it will be more. For the reading sample lesson, there will be 2. Here you have, and I forgot to share before to do the language, support language, but you have here for the first reading and then group feedback. So you can use this to do the reading lesson. Okay, let me go back. Let me play the music first, and then go back to. Hold on, let me work with the volume. That's the volume is good. Go back to slides. All right, so you can use the live worksheets, or you can use a piece of paper and then write the answer to these questions. So you have 90 seconds. like to, that was 90 seconds. And now I'd like to check how you are doing with the answer for the first task, the first reading. You think that was enough time? You got the answer, you got the picture of what the text is about? Oh, time was okay, Megan. So what is the answer? I'm gonna show the question again. What's the answer? What do you think is the answer for this question? It's A. Delia says it's A. And it's one more thing here is, it's not about right or wrong. It's about what we understand, right? So the more we read, maybe we change. I have one idea and then I read it again. Oh, I changed my idea because I see the meaning here. And I read it again, I have more and more and more. So that's all about, right? It's not about you're right, you're wrong. So Delia says it was A. What do you think? It's A, the answer? Everyone has the same answer? Let's see, maybe we have option A. We have 3 A's. Anyone has a different one? I'm a little lost. Oh, you were completing the attendance. Oh, B. Oh, we have 2 B's now, 3 A's and 2 B's. Danny, thank you. We're doing, Danny, we're doing the reading. That was the first reading. That's the text. And the questions were in the chat. And the idea is to get the big picture. What's the reading about? Where's the attendance form? That would be great. How about if we collaborate? So you can, anyone can share. Can anyone share the attendance, please, in the chat? That would be great. Someone is asking for the attendance. Yeah, that was about main idea, Delia. Yeah, that's right. What's the main idea? Yeah, so it sounds like we're tight. Oh, I'm sorry, my computer got fast. It went back. Return. Okay, here. It was about the main idea. Yeah. Yes. All right. So that was the first reading. And some people got A, some people got B. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go back. What do you think it's B? The answer is B. It says B is special ceremonies with children and adults. I see, Freddy, you selected B. I'm gonna go back to the text. Why do you think it's B, Freddy? What made you think?
I don't know, maybe because it is mentioned the name of 2 different ceremonies.
Yeah, it sounds like ceremonies is everywhere in the text, right? So ceremonies here, ceremonies there. Yeah, right. That's a key word, right? Yeah, it's not included in the support language because it's a word that is easy to understand, right? But yeah, it's a key word. Yeah, it's important. Yeah, thank you, Fred. That was good. Thank you, Fred, for answering. So we've been friends for years. So I say, oh, I'm gonna ask my friend Freddy. So we're ready to move to the second reading. So, but before we move into the second reading, let's do some group feedback. How was that for you? You can use one word. How was it? How was the reading? So it was challenging, easy, fun, boring, exciting, confusing, pleasant, unpleasant. You can use a word to describe the experience. Let's say it was interesting. Yuri says it was interesting. Yeah, you can also open Janet. I think it's Janet is the name. You raise your hand. Would you like to share?
Yes, good afternoon. I apologize because my camera doesn't work, but I think for me it was really challenging because I saw a lot of new words that I didn't know even how to pronounce them.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and that sounds like it's something similar my students experience in a reading lesson, right? And as a learner, I would like to, know most of the vocabulary, most of the words in the text, right? Especially, I know that I'm reading for ideas, but I want to know because those are words are, support understanding, right? Thank you. And I'm happy you're saying, Janet, that because that means that the text was selected for you. I mean, for the level of English, your level of English, right? That's good. So it's not easy. Yeah, it has a degree of challenging. So we're ready to move to the second reading. That was the first reading, but we're providing a little information. Thank you, Mary, for sharing the attendance again in the chat. So this text is a piece of satire, and it was created in 1956 by an anthropologist. And you might know what satire is. It's a using humor, irony, and exaggeration to expose and criticize what people do. Yeah, and especially in the context of contemporary politics and other topical issues. So that's the tone of the writer, right? It's a satire. So it's irony, it's humor. And there are two words that will be great to provide the meaning. So Nasirema, it's American spelled backwards. So the title, the reading is Body Rituals in Nasirema. So it means in America, by Americans. And Latipso, it's in the text, and Latipso, it's hospital backwards without the H. And then there's a word, a temple in the text, and the temple is the hospital. So it's the Latipso. The temple is the Latipso, and the Latipso is the hospital. So with this additional information, you think you're going to have a different perspective when reading the second time? You think that this might be useful for you to understand details of the text?
Well, it changed a lot the perspective, because I thought it was about a documentary or somewhere else in the world. I was thinking about Asia, South Asia, somewhere in the world, but right now it completely changed my mind.
Right.
It's a different perspective,
Right. And
it makes sense.
Right. And it's interesting because the miracle we have in the brain, we have, as soon as we connect a text to a topic, it start brainstorming all the language and experience that we have related to that topic, right? So it might hinder my understanding of the text, right? If I'm not clear about the context, right? So this is additional information that will be useful in reading and understanding. Yeah. Yeah, Yuri says in the chat, now I think it can be options A or C. The information has changed my perspective. Oh, that's interesting, right? That's what I was saying, right? Reading the second time or getting more information and say, oh, that's interesting. And that is reading understanding, right? That is beautiful. So I think we're ready for the second reading. This is the last time we're reading the text. And the reason why we're reading the text is to get detailed information. This is when we are achieving the objective of the reading lesson. 4 questions. And we're going to start with 3 minutes because now we need more time to go into details that might be, beyond, between the lines, or making inferences, go scanning, go into details. So we need more time. So you have the live worksheets. So you have the second. You can go to the second live worksheets if you want to do it on the live worksheets. If not, you can do it with us here on the slide. So you have different options, and you can keep the live worksheets. You can use it as sample and start creating your own live worksheets. And now it was just yesterday that the change was made, and I'm loving it. So I want to create more opportunities. So you have that in the chat too. All right, so we have 3 minutes. I'm gonna play background music, soft music, and I'm gonna show the text. Now, one thing I haven't done is to, hold on. I like to copy the questions in the chat, because when I show the screen, you're not gonna see the questions. Copy just the questions. Oops, hold on. If you're using the live worksheets, the questions are there, right? But if you're not using them, so they are in the chat, the 4 questions. Let me show this again. what a regular teacher does, right? This is what we do. Okay. So 3 minutes. Enjoy. Remember, it's reading and answering the question at the same time. It's not memory. It's a reading comprehension. You read it again, and get the details. There you go. So that was 3 minutes, and I wanted to check how you are doing with the answers for the 4 questions. You think I was enough time? You have the answer, you have all of them, almost there. Carmen, I see you. Thank you for opening your camera. Carmen, how are you doing with the reading? Do you have the answer for the 4 questions? Are you using the live worksheets or are you using the notebook? I'm curious.
I'm using the notebook.
You have the answer for the 4 questions?
Well, I have the first one. I am analyzing. Sorry, I'm extremely exhausted.
Oh.
Yeah, for the first one, well, one of the qualities, I have like a phrase that they treat very sick patients. I think that the word can be diverse. Can I say this? Yeah, and I am analyzing the other ones. Okay, I have the notebook in here.
All right, you're working on the answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you think we need maybe 30 more seconds? I'm thinking about time also, but if you...
Yeah, because today is Friday.
It is Friday, right?
Yeah.
It is Friday. It's the end of the week.
Because of this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I would take a 30 more seconds and see what happens, right? See, 30 more seconds. All right, thank you so much. If you are connecting, we're doing a reading sample lesson, and this was the second time reading the text. And there are 4 questions in the chat that we will be answering now. And I was thinking about, because some of the challenges you share at the beginning is having time, right? Enough time for a reading lesson. So one thought I have around this is so the reading lesson has different sections, so stages. And what are the stages I need more time. And it's when the students are reading the lesson. So I'm thinking about the post reading, I'm gonna compress it because I'm using more time in the reading. It's about reading, right? So it's important students read and they take the time to read. All right, so who would like to answer the first questions? 2 to 3 qualities of the imposing tempo. Anyone, you can open your mic or share in the chat. Or you can answer any of the 4 questions. You don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Any other questions? I would like to answer 3 or 4. Freddie, which one would you like to answer?
Maybe the first one.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, the first one of the characteristics is that you may encounter or find any of these places in any community.
Yes, that's very correct.
Number 2, another characteristic could be that in those places, very difficult treatments are done.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, and Megan also shared that in the chat that it's very expensive since people have to present gifts. Megan, what do you think is a gift? What's a gift in real life? What does he was talking about when he say you have to give a gift, and it's in the reading is 2 gifts, one at the beginning and one at the end.
Perhaps, yeah, it says if they cannot afford to do so, no matter how ill, the guardians of many temples will not meet a client if he cannot give a gift, or but maybe it's something physical, I guess. Because it says it's a village, so I guess, I don't know, I'm thinking vegetables or
I'm gonna go back
something
to the
that's
text.
precious to them.
Yeah, thank you. So something you have to do give something in return. Maybe if something physical, like I don't know, fruit or yeah. Anyone else? Hey, Freddy?
Maybe the gift there is referring the bill. You gotta pay the bill at very high price.
Money, right? You have to pay the bill, right?
Yeah.
Janet,
I will say that maybe somebody who witnessed to you as a gift.
Oh, a gift. You're bringing a real gift, a present, right? I think I'm gonna go with Freddie. It's money. So at the beginning is the deposit. You know, when you go to the hospital, they ask for a deposit and maybe plastic money. And then at the end, when you leave, when the ceremony is over, and then the bill, and then oh my God, the loan bill, right? So that's interesting. So we're gonna go into that was the reading. This is the post. We're gonna compress. We're gonna just spend maybe a minute or so. But the idea is we're moving into a different language skills. So I'd like to see there are 3 questions and maybe 1 or 2 learners answer any of the 2 questions. I'm interested about B. What does this compare with your experiences at healthcare here in Costa Rica and your communities? Is similar? Is different?
Well, let me tell you something. Right here in Costa Rica, we have a problem. We have a great health system, but if you require a very specialized treatment, you have to wait 2 or 3 years. And some people have died because they haven't been operated. And it's a pity, because if you don't have money to pay for the treatment, if you don't have money to go to the hospital, you have to wait, and some people die waiting. So it's like
Mhm.
The reading is telling us that some people can afford and some people can't afford, and some people die waiting, and we have those custodians. We have very expensive hospitals here in Costa Rica, and there are many people sick and just a few doctors, just a few specialists, and it's completely true. It's it's for real.
Right. It's complicated, right? And I hear you. My wife had a gallbladder and the surgery took 3 years and a half. And it was 2.5 million in a private clinic. I say, oh no, let's wait. She was in pain for 3 years and a half, and then the bladder was removed, and now she's great. Thank you. I hear you. Thank you. We'll move on. Yeah, move on.
I was
Go ahead,
sorry.
Carmen. Go ahead, Carmen.
No, I wanted to give my opinion. I agree with him. I just received sorry, someone is calling me.
That's okay, Carmen.
Doesn't matter. So I just made a surgery for the nose and the sore throat in a private institution, because if I wait, for example, in the public, I mean, in the seguro, in the caja, maybe I'm gonna die.
Oh no.
So I agree with, I don't remember his name. Mhm.
I think it was Danny, if I'm not mistaken.
Danny, okay, yeah, I agree with
So
him.
how was that? How was that experience for you? How was the reading experience for you as a reader, as a learner? And what are you taking from that experience? You say, oh, when I'm teaching.
That we need money for everything. Yes, that's true. Oh my gosh, sorry, Isabel. Sorry.
Yeah.
The bell.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's a great post and a great comment. And now the reading, so let's do some more reflection. So the MEP curriculum sets these 4 different stages when you are planning and delivering a lesson. So students go through this, and then you went through these different stages. Do you remember 1 or 2 tasks for each of the stages? So what do we do? What do you do in the pre? Do you remember what you did? And say, yeah, we did that. Yeah.
We only had 90 seconds, so it was really quick.
Oh, that's Danny, that was for the pre-reading or the first reading?
It's on the first reading. You're right.
The first reading. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So yeah, I was checking.
To learn some vocabulary, right?
Cristina says, yeah, vocabulary checking we learn new words, right? With the matching and then the pronunciation and then some questions. Yeah, right, right. And the first reading, Danny said that we had 90 seconds, right? How about the second reading? We did 2 activities. You did 2 activities. Oh, Janet, thank you for raising your hand. Go ahead, Janet.
Okay, so we have more than 3 minutes to reread the reading and trying to understand that and answer the questions. So
right.
the second thing we did after reread the text was answer the question. Then you discuss that with us. So that was the 2 activities we did after.
Okay. Great, thank you. And it says the 90 seconds you took 90 seconds, but the 3 minutes we took more time. You needed more time, right? So that was interesting. Christina said that she played games with students first, and then she does some reading. I love that idea. Playing games, like brings energy and maybe a connection and motivation for students to be in a class, right? I love that. Yeah, if I go to a reading lesson with a low level of energy, that will be more challenging. Yes, right.
Sorry, I like to play Jeopardy, or who wants to be a millionaire, in order for them to guess vocabulary. And students love these kind of competences, like these games.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Carmen. Yeah, so that's what you did. And I like to focus on the learner. So you see this as the learner did this, the learner will do this, the learner will answer, the learner will read, the learner will match, the learner get additional context. It's all about the learner. So when I am planning a lesson, a reading lesson, I have a video in my mind. So I know Freddie is my student and he will be doing this. He will be pairing with Carmen He will be working in a small group with Carmen and Danny. So I'm thinking about students, what students will be doing in the reading lesson, and then following the different stages of the lesson. Yes, thank you. So these are some of the reading strategies included in the MEP curriculum. All of them were used in this sample lesson. Can you pick one and say, we did this, we did skimming when we did this, for example? Okay. Can you pick only one? Choose one and say, oh yeah, guessing the meaning of a word. We did it when we did the activity, X activity.
Maybe the reading between the lines when you ask questions about the gifts.
Right. The author didn't say money or deposit, right? No, yeah. So that was between the lines. You're right. So you see, it's so beautiful because that was one of the questions at the beginning. It's beautiful to include different, not only one, right? I'm not saying we need to include all of them. I'm saying work with different, right? So if you have reading lessons every, I don't know, every month or every, like, so for this reading lesson, I'm going to include these three. And the next reading lesson, I'm going to include these other three, right? And so
Let's say,
students.
let's say about inference. At the very beginning, you had 2 questions for us to activate schema, and you asked about where do we take our kids or children when they are sick. So on that way, we were making like an anticipation, and we were making like an inference about what the topic might be.
Yeah. So
In my case, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Carmen. No, go ahead, please.
No, in my case, I really love 4, 5, and 6. And I always say to them, guys, you have to analyze the title. If the title is about monkeys, what is it going to be about?
Right.
So, and they understand what I mean. And they always analyze the title. And also I like this one, guessing the meaning of a word. And because, for example, if they don't know, that sometimes they don't know, I like to dramatize it. So it's like, and they understand better because they are going to remember what the teacher made, because I am like an actress. Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say here is just be aware of the different strategies you're using in a reading lesson. That's not only, I like this matching exercise. Why you selected the matching exercise? What is the reading comprehension strategy behind this task, right? So in the chat, Vanessa says, evaluating when you ask for our opinions, right? And Christina said, for the second reading, I asked them some questions from the reading, and they asked them on their own opinion and experiences about the topic they study. They can do it orally or integrating the different skills in the post. That's great. Quickly, I go to these 6 different tips. I did this when I was planning this lesson. First, I selected the text, and I had some ideas about the audience. I talked to the national advisor, say, oh, this is your audience, so this is a text I selected for them, and then I adjust the tasks, not the text. I didn't make any change on the text. It's just the task, right? Sometimes it's depending on the level of English of my students, how much they can, produce when they speak, right? They share answers. So dependence of the text. So I try to adjust the task, not the text. And then after selecting the text, I write the objective, and the objective has 2 components. The first one, it's at the end of the second reading lesson, they achieve by, it doesn't have to be all the time open questions or detailed questions. It could be multiple choice. It could be matching. And then the post is they personalize what they got from the content, and they have a conversation. We're having a conversation about the situation in Costa Rica. And then after designing the task, and then I'm able to select the support language, because the support language is taken from the text and also from the task. So this language will be useful for students to answer or complete the tasks. So it's not that I have the text and I select the text first. No, first the task, the objective in the task, and then the support language. And as I was saying before, the longest part is the reading. And the post, number 5, tip number 5, the post has to be personalized. So it's like students can feel, oh, it's about me. It's meaningful, right? It might be also useful, but meaningful. It's about me. I can talk about my experience. I was talking about my experience, my wife's experience. And important, in a reading lesson, I describe, as Carmen was saying, use body language to make sure students are clear about what they're doing, why they're reading the text. So first the task, and clear task, and they know what they do, and they know how much time, and then the text. Because in my experience, if I give them the text, they start reading and they're not paying attention to the task, and then they're lost, or they might be lost. So first clear the task, and then I give them, hey, teacher, deme ya el texto. No, wait. Make sure you understand what you are doing and why you're doing this reading, and then the text. All right, so this is the end of the first reading sample lesson, and I'd like to see if you have any comment, question, thoughts. I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute and see if you have any comment, question. We'll move on. Thank you for participating. That was great. That was amazing.
Well, let's say that pictures are also useful to teach vocabulary, so we can have flashcards or those to teach the words.
I love that idea. I love it. Yes, that's a great idea. Using different strategies to make meaning, right? Thank you. So we've been sitting or together in front of the screen for 1 hour and 12 minutes. So how about if we do some stretch? It's a stretch break. Move away from the screen. Stretch your body. Take some breath. Look around. If you have something to drink, you can drink water or whatever you have. It's something to eat, to chew. And yes, just to stretch. And we're ready for the next one. All right, so next we have the writing lesson. We're gonna have again, and this is very important. In this writing lesson, we're gonna experience all the stages of writing, and then we're gonna be publishing our writing at the end of the session. So I'd like to hear maybe a couple of challenges you face when you are teaching writing. What are some of the challenges you face when you're teaching writing? You can open your mic, or you can share in the chat.
Yeah, I think that when students write, they must have some previous knowledge on how to write sentence properly, vocabulary, punctuation marks, types of sentences. So that requires a lot of preparation in a whole lesson, so that at the end their writing makes sense.
Yeah, I love about the intention of teaching vocabulary. What vocabulary, what words I'm teaching, a phrase or grammar structure or grammar aspect like punctuation. Why am I teaching this? It's because I'm gonna recycle or reuse it in a writing class. So intentionally planning a vocabulary lesson, a grammar lesson for the purpose of reusing this in a future writing class. So that's amazing. Thank you for sharing. Just because of time, I'm gonna move on. And I'm guessing that it was, I don't know, a reason when you were in the writing class and you were the learner. So I hope you're willing to participate. It's very important. I'm sharing in the chat. I will be sharing all the live worksheets. We have 5 or 4, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 different links for the 4 different stages. And one is not included, the Jamboard, the last stage is not included, but I will be including at the end. So 4 live worksheets and each one for each of the stages. And so you can use live worksheets if you want to. When you complete it, you can download it as a PDF, or you can use a notebook or a device, a computer or phone. But it's very important you practice, not practice. You do the activity, you do the task, because when you do it, you will be experiencing this. Oh, it takes time. And then we'll reflect on that experience, right? I was learning a writing lesson a long time ago, Yuri says. Yeah, that's great that you're going to be experiencing this again. Now, this lesson is for ninth graders, and then you can do it. If you're teaching ninth graders and then you're in unit 2 and week 3, you can do this. You have a lesson plan here, and you will have access to the slides on the resource link we'll be sharing. So you can do this. So the first activity is the writing task. What's the writing task? And it needs to be clear. So the context is you got a pair of wireless earphones last week. Let's say last week. You watch a TikTok video and then say, wow, reasonable price. I love them. It looks good. I want them. I need them. Because for fun or for teaching or for work or for professional development. A week later, there's a problem. And the website, there was no phone number, just a website. People are not responding. So you need to do something, right? And you want to write a complaint email. So the idea is you will be writing a complaint email now to the legal office, the TikTok legal office. And then you request or replacement or refund. So that's the context. And this is the first stage. And you can use the live worksheets, or you can do it with me here in the chat or on a piece of paper. So we're gonna make a list. We're gonna go one by one. I hope you can write a lot on the chat so we can use this information when we are writing the first draft. So next will be drafting your email, complaint email, but we need some information. So we're brainstorming information. So what are 2 possible wireless earphone issues you might face? Any? You can write in the chat or you can open your mic. So in my case, I think it's a one issue I sometimes I face is this pairing issues. How about you? Which ones are possible issues?
Maybe losing one of the 2.
Oh, that's not fun at all. The battery doesn't last long enough. Danny says, yes. Yeah, charge. And then after 20 minutes, battery's dead. Oh, I have to recharge it. And so that's not good. Something is not working, right? So they have at least two ideas. Any other idea? Maybe you have one more. Oh, they were broken when you got them. Oh no, when you open the box, one of them, they are broken. Oh no. One has better sound quality than the other one, right? I have earpods. I'm not using them because one of them, the right one, has some cracking noise. It's so frustrating. Yeah, and uncomfortable. Yeah. Okay. We have 4, 5 different possible issues. How about the parts of the email? There are 6. Which ones do you remember? What is not linking, not pairing, right? HP. What are the parts of the email? I'm gonna write one. A signature, it's one part of the email. What are the other parts of the subject, salutation, closing attachment? Yes, signature. Yes, attachment is also important, right? Because if you have the bill, the receipt, or maybe a screenshot of the signal you get, right? So you're trying to pair it and not pairing, right? Right. Maybe a picture of me with the earphone saying, hey, this is what I got. Contact information, yeah, your phone number, right? So they can contact you saying, hey, Ivan, I'm sorry, so what can I do for you? The recipient, the receiver, the body of the email is very important. All right, so I think it's how we have information that might be included in the pre-req. So we got a good list, and we can use this chat, the list in the chat, to write. So you use the corresponding live worksheets. So each live worksheet has a name. This is for first draft. So there's one for first draft. So here on the left, you have the parts of the email. So make sure you include all the 6 parts. And then you will be writing 2 to 4 statements describing what the issue is. And 1 or 2 statements making a request. All right. And then you have a model. I already wrote my complaint email, and that's a model. So it's a screenshot of the model. So if you want to follow that model, you can do that. So we're going to take 4 minutes to start and see. I know it takes time, but I'm thinking about time. So we'll finish at 3. If you can take, let's take 4 minutes and see how much you can do, and check and see if we need more time. All right. I hope you enjoy. I'm going to play music, and I hope you enjoyed this experience.
Ivan,
Go ahead.
I want to see that picture. Thank
Okay. Okay, Delia, I can do that. Thank you. I hope you can hear me now better. Maybe I can approach the mic. I have a mic. Thank you, Delia. All right, thank you so much. That was 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And I wanted to check with you how you are doing. I see Delia already shared her first draft. That's great, Delia. We will be going through the different stages. We're gonna be revising, editing, and then publishing. That was the first draft, and that would be great if you make some revision and addition and see the first and the last version. But I wanted to check if how you are doing it. That was good time to do the first draft. I know writing takes time. Yeah. Oh, Freddie also. Oh my God, you are fast writers. That's great. That's great you're sharing. I'm gonna take that is it was enough time to do a first draft. The second stage. So one of the reasons why we are doing this activity, I mean, the writing is you will be publishing your email, so we can read your email, complaint email to TikTok legal office. Okay, so next we're gonna do the self-revision, and we will be using. This is about the content of the email, right? It's not about the form, grammar, or like punctuation, capitalization. This is about the content. So your ideas are organized and you have all the ideas, and then you organize the signatures at the end, as at the middle. The body is you can read the request is at the end, or so you can move around or add more ideas to your email. So you have only one idea describing the issue, so you can add one more idea. So check, and again, you can use the live worksheets, or you can use your whatever you're using, your notebook or a piece of paper, and take let's take a couple of minutes and then check. Let's take a couple of minutes to check and then see how you're doing with the revision. This is the time that you can check the content of your email, right? And then we'll move it into editing. In the editing, we check the form, the punctuation, capitalization, the sentence structure, grammar, and details. But this is content and then the form before publishing. I play music for 2 minutes and then we check. I was muted. That was 2.5 minutes. And I wanted to check how you are doing in the self-revision section. I forgot to say that at the end, I left a blank D in case you want to add one more thing you want to include in the self-revision. Wanted to check if you open your mic or share in the chat how you are doing. You think you're ready to move to the next one? We are revising, reviewing a draft email we wrote about a complaint we were gonna make. See. Hello, Alejandra. Let me see if I have. Oops, I'm sorry. I want to check before moving forward. I want to check how you are doing. And I know, thank you for sharing. Wow, that's Carmen. Thank you for sharing your. That's great. You're publishing now, and it's great. I love the idea of publishing different versions of the writing work. That is fantastic. Yeah, it is great because the students can see the process, right, in action, what it takes, right? But then you can see polished writing work. I'm gonna take it as we can move on. So the next stage in the MEP curriculum for writing lesson is the editing. So this is the time when we are checking accuracy, right? You know, like those details, right? Little details, capitalization, verb conjugation, punctuation, sentence structure, anything, right? Anything you need to, the signature is at the left, the center, what else, you know, like details you need to check before you send your email, right? Like we write an email and then we proofread it, right? The same thing we do it, right? Especially depends on the, like let's say Freddy is a supervisor and you want to send an email to your supervisor, right? And then you write an email and before send it, right? Before publishing, you check the content is clear and the, you know, your it's accurate, the language is accurate, right? So punctuation, capitalization. So when Ready reads your email, say, wow, this is clear, right? So yeah, correct. I check mechanics. That's correct, Freddy, right? Yeah, and that goes, it's you see the two different stages, right? The first we check the content, the ideas, and the organization of the ideas, right? It makes sense, right? Yeah, the logical order of the ideas and the number of ideas we have. We can add more, we can delete, we can paraphrase. That's the self-revision. And editing is just the mechanics, right? So just like the details. All right. All right, so and this is before publishing. So I'll take a couple of more minutes to do some editing, the last editing, and then we'll be publishing your complaint email. right, that was 2.5 minutes, and I'm checking if you're ready because I see some of you are publishing in the chat. That is great. We have at least 4 or 5, but I wanted to check if the rest, we have around 50 teachers, 50 learners. I'm just checking how you are doing in writing. This is the last part of the writing, and then publishing comes into place, which is the last section. I'm gonna be sharing. I don't know how many of you have used Jamboard. I'm gonna take it like you are ready. How many of you have used Jamboard to publish? It's a great collaboration tech tool. Let me open Jamboard and I know you have shared your email in the chat, which is great. So we're using these 2 spaces to publish Jamboard and the Zoom chat. So Jamboard is one of my favorite spaces, right? It has some frames, right? So it's a kind of a sheet of paper, and on the side there's a bar with some icons, right? So the first one is a pen, the second one is a eraser, the next one is a selected, the next one is a sticky note to write comments, and then the next one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's add image. So here you click there, and then you can add your image where you find where your image, you browse, you select your image, and then you can share it and publish. And what we are doing next is publishing. This is the last stage of the writing an email, and then we're gonna reflect on the experience, right? So we're gonna share. You take a photo, a screenshot, and share it in the Zoom chat or Jamboard. And then the reason why we are publishing your email is because we're gonna be reading 2 to 3 complaint emails that we are in the chat. We already have about 4 or 5. We can select 2 to 3, read them, and then say, "Oh, I like this. I like Freddie's email because the way his tone of voice, right? The way he's kind." Freddie says in the email, "Please replace them, or I want my money back." It's a direct request, simple. That's all I need. Replace or send me my money back. So that's what I like, simple like that. You know, not on the branches. It just go to the point. That's Freddie's writing style, right? That's what I like. So that's the idea. We read and say, "Oh, I like Megan Solano, because she said, I'm requesting full response of the." She included the cost $45. Yeah, so like the details she included, right? So, and then you find why you like it, and then we talk. So we're gonna spend maybe a couple of minutes, and then you share your please share your complaint email in the chat, or if you want to use Jamboard, that would be great also. That would be great. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes to wait for learners to publish, and then I'm gonna move on to the next one, the last. When I reflect on the writing experience. One question I have, if you have already published your email, maybe we can have a conversation about what spaces you use to publish your students' work, your students' writing work. We're using the Zoom chat and the Jamboard. What other spaces do you use to publish their work? You can open your mic or write in the chat. That would be great to get to know more about ways to publish and celebrate writing. Carmen?
Sometimes I use Drive.
Oh.
Yeah, because they can collaborate together. I like it. I like it a lot.
So they all have access to your Drive. So they use a Drive, and then you provide the link, and then they upload the work. Yeah, that's great. And then they can see other students, their classmates writing piece. Okay, that's great.
Well, I love technology, and I am always like trying to do like very nice things. I try at least.
Yeah. You can try Jamboard. Have you tried Jamboard before, Carmen?
I think the ones, yeah, I am always like trying to find very nice techniques, and I think that I have used this one. but
that's
just
right.
once. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna use it. Thank you.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's free. Yeah, I
Mhm.
love it. It's free and it's in Google. It's a Google tech tool.
Mhm.
Yeah. I remember that I saw a Facebook account, a private Facebook account of a school, a colegio, and the teachers were publishing what the students were doing. And that was amazing to see. So parents, if I were a parent, you say like to see my daughter's piece of writing and say, oh my God, she is learning, right? What they're doing. So that's one way to publish. Yeah. Yuri says try to send a screenshot, but it is not readable. I'm sorry. That's okay, Yuri. I can read it. I think it's if I can. Oops. All right. So it's time for you to start. It's okay. We're gonna compress here, and I'm inviting you to read the 2 to 3 different emails, mostly in the chat. Oh, there's one Danny is sharing in the. I'm gonna leave open the live worksheet, so you can use the chat or use the one on the Jamboard, and please select one and say I like this email because of this. Oh, that's great. You got a screenshot of the WhatsApp. Let's take a minute or so and we're reading the complaint emails published, and then we're selecting one. Yeah, I'm gonna delete this so you have enough space to share. How about that? So you have a space to, so we have 3 on this Jamboard.
I would like to share that many years ago, when Blogger started, I used to ask students to log their thoughts in Blogger, and they have like the online diaries, and they share their, let's say, their essays or their works. So Blogger was the one that I used some years ago, but I haven't used that one for a while. But I think that students really like to use those tools, let's say Blogger, and it's really easy to use. In 5 minutes, you can create your online diary. So it's another one. This one, Jamboard, I haven't heard of it, and it's really nice. I was looking for something like this because you can take notes and highlight and add pictures. So it's really handy.
Yeah, user friendly. I like Danny. I never used Blogger. Do you mind sharing the link in the chat so everyone has access to what you're saying, the tech tool you're saying? I never use it. So that's one of the ideas here. So if you also have resources you would like us to be included in the resource link that we are providing or we're sharing with you all, that would be great. That would be amazing. Yes. All right. So Padlet too. Yes, Padlet is very similar. All right. And Carmen share Linoid. Carmen, would you like to share a little bit of what's the tech tool you share in the chat?
Lineage is like, for example, like some stickers, but online. They are different colors and they can write, we can project, and there are like, I mean, they are very creative. I'm gonna try to go to one of mine, and I'm gonna share. Give me a second, okay? I'm gonna
That would be
share
great. That would
something.
be great. All right. So that was the end of the writing lesson. And we have 10 minutes. And let's process this for maybe 8 minutes and see how was that for you. So how was that experience for you as a learner, as a teacher? And what impact is having on you saying, oh, wow, writing is, I forgot this. Now I remember now this. I'm aware of this now. What do you experience while doing the writing piece?
Maybe a reminder of the steps, that it's not just fine to simply come up with ideas and write them on a piece of paper and turn them in, but instead, first draft, checking information, if I can make some changes, maybe sharing with the classmates, etc. So I think
Right. It's a good
that's
reminder, the stages and how we can, what different tasks we can use what different tech tools we can use at different stages, right? How interactive it might be. Yes. Thank you, Megan. And thank you, Danny, for sharing in the chat the blogger. So you please take notes, and that's great. So Carmen and Danny have shared different links that might be useful for writing practices. So what do you remember doing in the, so we have 5 different stages, and the arrows indicate 2 in the pre, 1 in the drafting, 1 in the revising, 1 in the editing, and 2 in the publishing. Anyone, so you can say, oh, I remember in drafting we did this. What do? Do you remember? Oh, Carmen, thank you for sharing. Wow. That's an example of, let me see if I can do this. Carmen, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use, let me use one blank frame here.
We
I'm gonna
were
paste.
talking about, sorry, we were talking about famous people, and I said, maybe I can be creative and I can make an activity with this. Yeah, because at the end, mother, father, and family, they are important people. Yeah, there are like a lot of things that we can make with this technique. Well, this app website.
All right, great. So you have an example of what it is, right? What Carmen has shared, what you can do with students and publish, right? That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so this is what we did. And again, the focus is on the learners. The learners will be doing this. The learner will be brainstorming. The learners will be writing a draft, right? And the learners, I didn't include, the learners will be listening to background music, for example. So the different stages. So any comment or question about any of the stages or anything we did or you did or experienced today in at any of the stages? So Freddie in the chat say, as a learner, I might struggle with it. If I'm not familiar with the writing process, yes, you're right. Right. And yeah, and sometimes students say, why, that too many stages, too many steps, right? Because it's a process. It's a process. And as a teacher, Freddie says, I should be aware of what the learners will face while writing. Yeah. And one idea, and this is why the national advisors requested this practice. So you experience and you say, oh, that's what it takes. Oh, that's writing involves these two. That's what Freddie is saying. Thank you so much. And Vanessa say, I think that sometimes we forgot that students need to be guided in a step-by-step process in order to come up with a successful writing. This has been really helpful. Yeah, thank you, Vanessa. Yes, it's a great reminder. Say, oh, okay, so the stages, right? It's not like okay, go write in a complaint email and you have 20 minutes, go. And then, okay, it's time to finish, go, give me the product, the final product. It's a process, right? And not everyone goes at the same, pace, right? Rhythm, right? You said it at the beginning. Some students need more grammar. Some students need more language, more vocabulary, more writing experience, and accepting students as that's something we did at the beginning of the session. Accepting the students as they are, right, with their needs. I know Ivan, like when he's writing, he, has so many challenges, right? With organizing his ideas, having complete sentences, punctuation. It's crazy. And then you understand and you welcome Ivan. You welcome. I know if Ivan was able to write 2 sentences or celebrate 2 sentences, we were celebrating even though it was a full paragraph, but Ivan was able to write 2 sentences, say celebrate that and accept that. Yeah. Yeah, totally agree with Vanessa. Carmen says, and Yuri says, I guess the lack of time of the lessons is the enemy of complete all the stages. Yeah, I agree with the large classes. Right. So I'm thinking, if one thought I had around that, Yuri, is how about if in class we practice this, like, like maybe we don't have enough time to do all the 5 different stages, but in the first class we do the 3 stages, And then the last class, we do the last two stages, right? I mean, the next class. And then what I'm saying is maybe we become aware of the stages, right? It's a process and there are some stages to follow and tasks to follow, right? So with time and working on autonomy and independent, students can become independent. They can go outside the classroom. And if you use a tech tool or not tech tool, low tech and high tech, you can say, okay, in class, we were going to be able to complete only 3 stages, but there are 2 more stages. And you know how to complete the task on the 2 following stages. So that will be assignment. All right. So Carmen was saying, okay, in class, we're going to go through all the 4 stages, but editing, excuse me, and publish it will be done at home. And then you have the link for the drive. Please do the final editing at home and publish today, whenever the time is. So thinking about, but working with students in class so they know the stages, the steps, right? So I usually teach more reading than writing, and I have found students in a class saying, and I say, okay, today is going to be a reading class. I say, okay, you will be teaching some vocabulary at the beginning, right? So what are the words we're going to be learning? They know the steps, right? And then I say, will we have a conversation at the end, right? Yes, we'll have a conversation about the topic today. So students know because they are trained and aware like the different stages. So that's important. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. All right. So one more we already talked about that. So what thought, this is the end of the writing lesson. What thoughts or comments, final comments or question? What is something you're taking today? Say, I'm going to take these to my lessons. Yeah, Danny says, that's great. Take advantage of homework to accomplish all writing process stages. Yes. Yeah. So it's not like, okay, for homework is you write a complaint email. I don't know if you're going to follow all the stages at home. I don't know. They need support, right? They need support. Teacher, what's the punctuation here after the salutation? It's comma, semicolon, period. What's the punctuation? They need support. And it's frustrating when they're lost. Right? So thank you so much, Danny, for sharing. Yes. Yeah, and Frey says this writing process could be carried out in INCODE school during the workshops and in separate. Freddy, would you like to expand a little bit about what you're saying, the INCO and the CTP?
I apologize for the typos. What I'm trying to mean is that maybe because in INCO high school, they have more time, more lessons to teach English in the conversational workshops, and they have the access to computers and some devices, electronic devices. Maybe they can use that resources to carry out these tasks. And also with the CTPs, the technical education, they also have conversational workshops. The lessons are more, and the other maybe recommendation is in regular high school. Maybe we have 2 weeks within the teacher's guide. We have 2 weeks in which the student have to prepare a mini project. Maybe teachers can use those 2 weeks to have some writing as a mini project.
Thank you. I got it. So some programs have more space, right? More room to go and explore in class and go through the different process, the reading process or the writing process. That's amazing. So, and then you also have access to computer, right? So they can use tech tools in class. That's amazing. That's a great opportunity for teachers. All right. So it's almost the hour. I have a couple more minutes to go. And I would like to share, this is a free resource link. Remember that Mary was talking about the different webinars we've been delivering. There were 3 for preschool. So if you teach in preschool or you have a friend who teaches preschool, you can send the link and then you have information about the webinars. We had 2 for primary schools and then 2 for secondary school, colegio. This is the last one. So if I click on the secondary school, the last one, here you have access to the slides. And you also have access to this toolkit for receptive skills, listening and reading, designed by the MEP advisors and collaboration with Peace Corps. It's a great tech tool, toolkit, not tech tool, toolkit for you. So you can download it in PDF format. And then below you have resources for text. We included textbooks, we included websites. So it's a National Geographic. It's amazing, lots of text and tasks. So ready to go with the pre-reading, the during reading and after reading. And then we have lots of resources you can use with your students for teaching, designing and delivering reading lessons. And we also have more resources for writing. So we also have artificial intelligence, and we have YouTube videos, how to use the website. So it's you have lots of websites and resources for you, and writing books to be downloaded in PDF. You have lots of information, great resources for free, and I hope you enjoy it. I have also shared the feedback form. Feedback is also important. It's very important. So please, if you take a couple of minutes, a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, even if after the session, that would be great to have it. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and so I can see your faces or your names and see any final comments. I'm going to express gratitude to the American Embassy for supporting learning, quality of learning in Costa Rica and in Colegio. And I also gratitude to the regional and national advisors and every one of you. Thank you for joining, and thank you for joining and taking the time to. I know today was a busy day for some of you, but you're here, and thank you so much. Thank you for your gratitude in the chat. So Vanessa says, I'm visualizing having students work in groups, like giving each group different stages to work on, and later having them share. Oh, that's a great activity. I love that. I love that idea. And so like training students on the different stages, right? Right. So that's great. So working on different stages, right? Yeah. And Carmen says this week it has been working with my 11th graders on something they love. They are studying natural disaster. They wrote questions to have interview outside the class with teachers. They got very interesting result, and that's beautiful, right? I love the idea of going outside the classroom, Carmen. I love it. Yeah, and so it's bringing meaningful and useful content like text, so they can go outside. So I enjoy when my daughter Alejandra comes to class, say, how was your class? What was something you enjoyed? Or was something you didn't enjoy? And then she tells them about, in literature, in reading and writing and speaking and listening, I did this. And sometimes she shows the text and say, I love this. And then why don't you want to explore more about this? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to go and Google and YouTube and watch more about this. So that's great. Just inspiring the students. So thank you for doing that. Thank you so much. All right. So thank you so much for joining today. I'd like to see if someone wants to open the mic and say something. Thank you. I'm going to share again the feedback form and the resource link, so you have access to all those resources for free for your design. So some of the ideas on the webinar are included on the resource. Thank you so much. Enjoy I'm going to stop recording. Enjoy the rest of the week, and nice weekend.